I here I catch an unexpected P-47. It's going to be stalling in quite a while. Uh, and it's pulling into its friends, but doesn't really have any energy now, and it's gonna be dead like real fast. I wouldn't be really very hyped up for me making this kill, but this one right here is kind of an expected move. And here, actually, I'm watching the video with no sound. But if I rewind that 10 seconds, like something, and make it louder, you can probably hear that there is something behind me. Well, fear not. I actually thought of that in the gameplay. And the tactic here relies on uh, psychological mind games, like, psychological trick of ignoring the enemy. It is a very high skill, a very high tier method of dealing with your enemies. But essentially, what you do is you ignore your enemies and you just completely do not mind them being there so much that they just don't do anything. They are so frustrated at you that they cannot possibly even reach you. This is that image of a lion and a monkey. They just cannot do anything to you because in your world they do not exist, right? Uh, Also, in this game, I used a very interesting technique, which you can also see here. Uh, that I am investigating my plane right here. So this is when you're in combat and you're actively looking around your hull, your aircraft. This is actually much more useful than you may think. It is actually used for uh, finding the best spots for your opponents to land shots in, and the best for you because in some spots of your plane, the curve is so unusual, so curved the shape of the hull is that they will just ricochet straight into the enemy aircraft and eventually kill them. It's quite a hard technique to pull off, so it only is used at high tiers, where people like know how to play the game. Uh, I'm actually smart enough to come up with this technique on my own, but it's very hard to pull off. So, mm, after an extensive look at my airplane, I decided that the best place for an opponent to land the shots at is this glass cockpit part because of its curve, and I thought it would ricochet. The bullets would ricochet into the enemy aircraft, but they actually did not. And as you can see here, uh, my pilot actually got knocked out. Yeah, my pilot got knocked out. So the lesson here is actually not to try and find those strong spots to try and shake the bullets the plane. At least for now. But I think I'll be working on that skill later. Although now what we have the information of is that the actual strong part of the plane is not the cockpit cover, which is actually made out of glass. That would make me an easy target for this Spitfire that is right here. So instead, I go for this Spitfire. But guess my mistake now is actually going for a Spitfire, right? So I go into a head-on with this Spitfire, miss my shots, obviously. Then I do not land a shot because my plane is a boat in turning, so I cannot make the shot. Physically, just I'm moving too fast to drop my flaps. We are not high enough to get the most out of my plane. There is a Ki 61. T-61, great plane for the one who's flying it. For me, it's another. It's just acknowledging that the dildo is going up 1 centimeter more up my ass. What happens? I do not land any shot. And talking about aiming, you could have noticed that my aiming is really bad. I actually want to demonstrate my very awesome shooting skills. Um, as you can see right here, we are experiencing history. Um, this is essentially the footage that was that's, I don't know, every ass, every ace that every ass, yeah, every ass. There is a term that they call great pilots that have made 5 kills in one flight. It's ace. Well, in the language that I speak, it's pronounced ass. So no, without changing the pronunciation, I'd call myself an ass in flying planes. And this is the proof and the essentially the definition of an ass in piloting a plane. As you can see right here, I'm aiming directly nowhere. This is a very crucial skill for you to not actually enjoy the game and then blame the juice for it eventually. I don't know, whatever you want. Flies that were flying around your monitor, or I don't know, fanboys that were not letting you hit or something. Anything. The essential part is that they are at fault for your underperforming ass. What I'm aiming here is nowhere. I zoom in, and the first thing that I shoot is air again. Maybe some civilian on the ground in those fields you see there. There's a lot of fields under there. Probably they are all agricultural, and one of them could probably be hunting there for some uh, fox for his new hat. I don't know, something. But hunting foxes is not right in our society. It's not good to kill foxes. So that was the reason of me shooting at that bastard of the surface of the earth. He does not deserve to live here. So that shot was designated for him, obviously. What else could I do? I'm a good man. I could not let that slide. No, it's unacceptable. So moving on, I shoot at that man more, maybe at his friends, doing that all around the fields under there. Missing all the shots at the plane, but the plane didn't do no wrong. It just started flying, whatever. The man killing Fox is actually at the wrong here. But then out of nowhere, out of fucking nowhere, a key, another key. I just fucking boom. And I was not expecting this plane to be on my ass so soon. That could probably be the lesson for you guys to mind your surroundings, right? Myself, I don't know. We're reviewing my mistakes, right? Nothing wrong with getting a kill or two, what we have here is a B-51, but it's more like he's making a mistake rather than I am. And his mistake is, I don't know, into my aim, not minding his surroundings, probably. That's what also I do quite often. And essentially, I have implemented something that I've talked previously in other attempts of conveying any kind of information at all. So if we look at this situation closer right here, and I take a screenshot of it, I can actually demonstrate what's happening and how I can teach somebody something. Can I even teach? So we have a P-51 plane. Turns. All right. Fucked me in the ass quite a couple times. Flying there. Me. Stupid fucking I-225. Do I turn? Uh, every once in a while. Uh, but I can get that kill. I cannot get that kill though if I'm trying to follow the lead. This is this is the imaginary imaginary position of the enemy plane. So, trying to imagine the lead of the plane as it's in an arcade. So let's say it's probably here. Oh shit, I'm getting tired. So it's probably here, right? But it is also constantly changing since our person right here is actually piloting the planes. I would not expect it to not move at all, flying in one direction. Which he probably did, judging the footage, but whatever. Uh, I may miss this dot, and I may not find it right. But there's one thing that I can do to ensure to hit that spot, and is to start here and end here, essentially not following the lead, but stopping my rotation at some point here and letting the bullets fly as he here by what minute of the footage? By 53rd minute of the footage, which would be the 5th or 6th match, I eventually realized that it can be useful. Although I did actually make similar mistakes that did not allow me to make kills, and not similar mistakes, but I made mistakes in similar situations that did not allow. It was not the kind of way of letting out my frustration on this situation. Whatever. Uh, Whoever knows how this actually works, please do not kill me if I did not say any, if I did say any wrongful information. Yeah, that would be nice. I am willing to leave. Oh, leave, I mean live. Looking at this situation right here, I think I'm gonna be losing fight to this BF. I do not actually remember, but I remember that I lost a fight to a BF, and what essentially led to that is that BFs turn better than I-225 on low altitudes. Yeah, but I-225 turns great on high altitudes and low speeds. Might as well join a car fight on this I-225, but in Cosmos. It sounds just about right. Oh well. Look, guys, look. You need to look at this. So essentially, I'm above an enemy, and then he doesn't look at me, and then he dies. Wow, that's so cool. Uh, so after this, I need to glaze I-225 as the best prop on this BR, and say that it's really powerful and cool. Um, whatever on earth I can also say. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best and underrated. We should just uh, the uh, the Soviets, when the World War II was happening, they should have just stopped producing every kind of plane, start making every plane an I-225, and they would just rule the world. They would essentially, they could have just not even made a jet engine. They could have just made a double I-225, like the F-82, and they would win the Cold War. It's just that simple.